Hi, I'm Tori from Toriska Patterns, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Allegra wallet. The Allegra wallet is offered in two sizes, large and small, and there are two different options for this top part. One is a frame and one is a zipper. First, I'm going to talk about the sort of materials that you need for this purse. On the page of your pattern, it gives detailed amounts for both sizes, but I'm just going to tell you what sort of fabrics you should be looking for, and I'm going to run through the list of supplies. You can use all sorts of fabrics with this. This is a vinyl. This is a, I believe, an indoor-outdoor canvas. Here is 100% quilting cotton. This one is a cotton linen blend, I believe. They all work. The vinyl can be a little tricky because you do have some thick parts right here, so you better have, if you want to have the D-rings, then you want to make sure that your machine can sew over thick places like this. Also, when you open up the purse, you'll see these mitered corners. The vinyl struggles just a little bit getting that nice and crisp. It's easier with cotton or canvas. For the inside, I like to use 100% quilting cotton, or this is broadcloth, which is a cotton poly mix. That works as well. It's a little lighter weight, so I prefer 100% quilting cotton, but both of those work. For interfacing, many of the pieces need to be interfaced with a fusible woven interfacing. This brand that I use is called Stayflex and is 60 inches wide. I really like it. But you can use Pellon's SF101 or other fusible woven interfacings. You will need a small amount of fusible fleece, and that is for this top section only. If you do vinyl or something else thick like cork or something like that, I did not interface these vinyl pieces at all with any sort of interfacing. But for most other fabrics, you'll use fusible fleece in this top part, and that helps it have enough thickness to fit into this frame. But if you do have a thicker fabric, you can use the woven fusible instead. I'm gonna take this out of the way. You will need a stiff interfacing. Oh, no. You will also need some scraps. This is not something that you have to have, but I highly recommend it. This is a medium weight sew-in interfacing, and it's similar to Decor Bond if you've used that before, but it's not fusible. And I use it to stabilize these card slots, and I feel like it helps the fabrics last over time. You don't need very much of that. And finally, you need some sort of stiff interfacing to give the wallet its shape. You can use a variety, and they all have slightly different thicknesses. These tan ones, this is Decaville Light and Decaville Heavy. Either one can be used. I used Decaville Light on this one, and it's a little more flexible. And I think I used Decaville Light on this one too. It bends, but once you put the cards in it, it keeps its shape really well. I actually like using Decaville a lot for these light. Decaville Heavy works too. It's a lot sturdier. You can use, and these are both fusible on one side, which is handy for fusing to the exterior. This is Peltex. It's not fusible, but I've used the fusible kind as well for this pattern. Both of them work. And this one is similar to Peltex, but it's not as thick, and it is just more flexible, but I like it for this wallet pattern as well. It's called Pelon 926. It's extra firm stabilizer. I think that's what they call it. Any of these would work. You also need to decide whether you're doing the frame version or the zipper version. So you need either a 4.5-inch frame or a 8-inch frame. Now I do include instructions in the pattern on how you can modify your frame if your frame is not exactly 4.5 inches by 3 inches or 8 inches by 3 inches. You can you can use a shorter frame, a little bit longer, but not very much. And you can vary the width or the length of the frame by about 1/2 inch longer or shorter. And I show you how to change that in the pattern if you need to, but it will not look quite the same. It'll look a little different. So I highly recommend sticking with the recommended size, but I do give you instructions if you need to adjust that for you. And if you don't want to do the frame on top, you can use a zipper. I like the size 3 zipper on these the best. I did make a version that I put somewhere over here with a 4.5 size zipper, and I just didn't like how thick it was. But if that's the only kind of zipper that you keep around, you can. I don't think it looks as nice on the sides. It's really bulging, but you can if you want. And then for the inside zipper pocket, you will need another zipper, and I recommend the size 3 zipper for that as well. If you are doing the version with D-rings, then you will need 1/2-inch D-rings, 2 D-rings, and 2 1/2-inch lobster clasps. And that is for your strap. And you will need either spring hooks or magnetic snaps. And these ones, I usually use size 18mm snaps for bags. But with these, I prefer the 14mm. They're a little smaller, and I like them better for these, for opening and closing. The 18mm ones work as well, but they're really strong. So it's hard with a bag this small, or a wallet this small. So I prefer the 18mm. I prefer the 14mm over the 18. But you can also use spring hooks. Spring snaps, not spring hooks, spring snaps. If you are doing the phone compartment, so the phone compartment is only available in the size large. You'll notice in the small, there's just a flat pocket on the back here. You can do that as well for the large, or you can make a phone compartment so you can carry your phone with you. And it just has an extra gusset on the bottom. And it closes, if you don't have a closer at the top and you open your wallet wrong, your phone will slip right out. So I use a little bit of 1-inch wide elastic and some Velcro at the end, just 1/2 inch of Velcro. And then you can secure your phone and it stays in there very nicely. And if you do a frame, you'll need glue. I prefer this Craft Amazing Goop. You can use E6000. You can use Gutermann, anything that works well with metal and fabric. And they generally say on the pattern what they work for. So you don't want something that's super runny. If I do have instructions in the pattern on how to use a sew-in frame. And I don't have any examples of that here, but if you do a sew-in frame, you'll need a heavy-duty needle and thread. Let's see what else. I have a few optional things for straps, especially if you're using vinyl or something that doesn't hold a crease very well. You might want double-sided tape. And I like to reinforce these little D-rings right here with some ribbon just to help them over time not to stretch out or break. And that is all the materials you need for this purse.